I did forget, actually, to mention Trent's texts.
Oh, yeah.
That was annoying. Got a text from Trent. It wasn't that important. He just said, fuck picnic. Hi.
Whoa. Guys are spunky girls.
Hey.
That's
cool.
That is a cute girl voice.
Who's that? Who's that famous cute girl from TV? Hey. Coochie cool.
Is that Charo?
It's Telly Salavas. That's Kojak. Hey, I love your babies. I do them all. Columbo. Another thing, my wife is your friend. That's another one. Monk. Oh, this is a dirty house.
It's just a critical jerk. That
Murder, She Wrote. Murder, I write. I do them all. Cat fell home.
Cat fell hum? What's that? Who's that?
Dick Van Diagnosis Murder. Oh, your heart rate's up and someone's dead. So, all of the TV detectives, those ones.
Those are all of them.
I do them all at parties. People pay me to turn up at their party, not in costume. I don't do the costume shit, but I will walk around the party just saying things like, hey, Coochie cool.
They don't make them like Telly Savalas anymore. There's no potential for a man like Telly Savalas to become a big star in the modern age.
No.
It just doesn't happen.
No,
He's not in good shape. His nose is big. He's not bald by choice. He's bald by genetics. He's just eats a lollipop and looks at you. Seriously. And then you're like, whoa, that's star material.
And he goes, I love your babies. Coochie cool. You couldn't get Justin Bieber turning up at your house bald with a lollipop going, Coochie cool.
That would ruin his career.
No.
He can say whatever he wants about Anne Frank. He can smoke all the reefer he likes, but
he's got to insult Holocaust survivors and justify sexual abuse as it being part of God's plan. That's what he does. Telly Savalas goes coochie coo. There's a world of difference, and it's part of the reason why society now has gone to the dogs.
It might have. I was honestly thinking, as many older people do, that society has broken down and that the standards that we all used to uphold in order to maintain decent lives for ourselves and those around us are deteriorating, and that we may just be in a total Greek orgy Caligula mess. Was that Roman or Greek? That Caligula.
Caligula was Roman.
My mistake. Roman mess. That Rome is going to burn soon. Been feeling that way this week.
It's a Roman mess. Oh, I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna remember Roman mess.
Oh no, are you gonna use it against me somehow?
No, probably not against you. Probably against my wife.
To describe what? I wonder.
Well, here's the thing.
Nah.
And hear me out, Jonathan.
Okay.
You've said that society is headed towards a Roman mess.
Maybe.
Now, I've always been of the feeling, of the impression, that if you see which way the wind's blowing, get upwind of it. Make sure you are doing the blowing rather than be blown. None of us want to be blown here.
No, we don't want the air to be blown on us.
No, none of us want to experience I would call it a blow job. None of us ever have. None of us ever will.
Because we're going to stay on top of things, you're saying.
Yeah, because we are going to... Yeah. No one can blow us if we're right on top of them. Imposing our will. And that's what we need to do, right? We can see it. America is done for. It's over. Many have called it the new Roman Empire, and it's going to burn.
It was a bold experiment. We've taken it as far as we can. It's time to wipe the slate clean.
Mm-hmm. And when they...
yeah.
When Gotham is ashes, we want to be the Banes of it. We want to be the ones stood up just going, oh, your back is all hurt. And ours isn't. I'm going to blow up a football stadium. That's what we want to be. But
Why does he talk like that? Did they ever... The movie's been out for a while. Did they come out and say, oh, and by the way, that was funny, wasn't it? That we had the supervillain of the movie sometimes be like, oh, like, and other times not. No, have they explained that?
Yours. I do want us one day, I want you one day to take over Boston.
Like Bane?
In a big fleecy collar jacket with a mask and just go, Boston is yours! But that's besides the point. The point is, we need to be the heralds of New Rome. And that's going to start with the heart of America, Boston. What I want is for us to march into Mayor Dooley's office and declare Boston, just the city of Boston, as separate from the United States of America. We're going to secede. Is that the pronunciation?
Secede.
We're going to secede from the United States and declare the new Holy Roman Empire.
What? But we're trying to avoid to be a Roman Empire. We want society to maintain itself. So
no. We've moved out of denial.
Yeah, we've accepted that America's going the way of Rome. So what better than to just be the ones to kickstart it? Then when it happens around the world, people are going to think it was your idea, Jonathan. Because you're going to be the new Holy Roman Emperor. You're going to be, the new Clovis, the new Calafrump.
I don't want to do that.
Lord High Poobah, Emperor Holmes the First.
Yeah, Lord High Poobah, Emperor Holmes the First.
No.
The new Holy Roman Emperor of Boston Greco-Romo. We're going to kick open Mayor Dooley's office, and I'm going to come in with a parchment, and Conrad's going to wear those shoes with little wings on them.
Mayor Dooley?
The mayor of Boston, Mayor Dooley. I'm going to come in and unravel a scroll, which is just going to be massively long for comic effect. And only one sentence is written on it, but he'll just be impressed by the length of the scroll. I'll say, listen here, Jesuit. I am the herald of the new Holy Roman Emperor Grand Poomba. Jonathus Homus. Jonathus Homo... Melon. Jonathus...
Homo Melon?
Jonathus Homo Melanus. Jonathus Homo Melanus. The new Grand Poomba of the Roman Emperor. We declare Boston to be the new heart of the Holy Roman Empire, as you can tell by my Roman, as presented in cartoons, accent. You are out of here, and you will be sufficiently impressed by my mighty scroll that you will agree to all of our demands. And Mayor Dooley will be like, I ain't getting out of this town. You ain't running me out of here. How do you... Prove it. Prove that you've got the Emperor. And that's when Conrad comes out with his winged shoes and leads you out, Jonathan, with a chain around your neck. Just in case you're thinking of going away from us. And leads you in. And he'll believe it because you will be wearing a toga, the bedsheet that we've wrapped around you, and some leaves duct taped to your ears, like what Roman emperors have.
That was poison oak, I think, is what they used, right?
Yeah, poison ivy, poison oak, some nettles, some stinging nettles.
No.
Some of those red berries that birds eat and you tell kids they can't eat them. You could eat a few of them, Jonathan, as well.
You're just going to put a dangerous salad on my face and wrap me in a sheet and put me in front of Mayor Menino and... And why would I want to be in charge of an empire of jerks anyway? I'd rather just. Can't we try to help the people instead of just declaring ourselves leader of the squalor and dressing ourselves in green, dangerous green
salad.
things? Yeah, that's how you make it
I'm
sound.
so glad that that's exactly the thing you're stuck on too.
I did say a lot of other
In
things.
fact, that's what you're going to be called.
Dangerous salad.
Emperor Dangerous Caesar Salad. Because that's quite threatening as well. Because Mayor Dooley will be like, I didn't know he was dangerous. And he is mightily dangerous, sir. He'll rub his ears against you. And he hasn't got any dock leaves. Because that's what you use if you get stung with a stinging. It'll rub a dock leaf on it. Dock leaves in the new Holy Roman Empire will be banned, thus ensuring that your head will be the most dangerous weapon in Rome. Because your head... I mean, right now, I'm almost imagining... in The Lion King, when Simba sings about how he can't wait to be king,
Oh,
and
yeah.
at one point he has a fake mane made out of big leaves and bushes.
Uh-huh.
That is what I want. I want you, round your neck and head, just a mass of greenery. You're going to look like an Ent from Lord of the Rings. Just poison ivy, nettles, thorns, just really dangerous and deadly plants. It will look intimidating. Like, holy shit, that's like a boy poison ivy. And B, it's just going to be dangerous. Who's going to come up to try and assassinate you? Because Caesars get assassinated a lot. No one's going to try and tangle with the man covered in tangles.
I will be tased or beaten or both in minutes.
How could they get close to you? You're the walking set of Congo.
They've got long sleeves. All they need to do is not brush their hands. The club is held in the hand. You're right. The arm may rub against the beard of whatever, but the club will hit the head, and I will fall down, and they will put me in jail.
No one's going to go near you because you will be surrounded. You will be flanked by your Praetorian guard.
Who's that? What?
Some homeless men I found under a bridge. I've become very well known to the vagrant sector of Boston. So well known that many of them mutter "oh fuck" when they see me coming. Just clanging a cheese grater with a metal stick and just shouting "hear me out, hear me out" at the local homeless populace. Because they say "oh fuck" and try and run towards me. But because they've not been educated, they got towards and away mixed up. So they run away from me screaming "oh fuck" when they really want to run towards me screaming "fuck yes." Because they're so excited that I've got a new proposition for them. And they're going to get anywhere of up to 10 groats for helping us all out. So you'll be flanked by your Praetorian guards. Now, what do we know about the Roman Praetorian guards? They're the elite crack troops of Rome. So they will be heavily trained. We'll be making them play Mortal Kombat 3 so that they get a taste of violence and know how to do fighting real good. Heavily armoured. We'll get them shields, cookie sheets with duct tape handles that they can put round, and spears, long spears. Bit of a branch.
So they're going to be just flailing, just punching forward in the air, holding a cookie sheet and a branch, because that's all they do in Mortal Kombat. You just keep hitting.
They're going to be highly trained and disciplined. Discipline is the name of the game. You march in formation.
They really are.
You protect your emperor, and I'll give you a can of dog food.
Who would not leap at the opportunity?
Absolutely.
So I don't take over, right? I get to lose and not... Because I want to lose this round. I don't want to win.
Scorpions.
Boston. What? Scorpions?
Scorpions.
What did they do?
Each Praetorian guard will be given a sackcloth full of scorpions that they can just, like, fling. They hold the bottom of the bag and just fling it towards Mayor Dooley and the police.
I sincerely want to lose. I mean, it would be bad to have to go through this, but it would be better than actually beating the mayor.
This is why Conrad has a chain round your neck and is holding it tightly.
Right, exactly. Because we understand your hesitation.
Yeah.
But don't worry, this is really for the best.
In many ways, men of greatness, and women, men and women and non-cis people are not often authors of their own destiny.
It's true.
Greatness is thrust upon them. Greatness comes in the form of a mustachioed man with a chain, fastening it to your neck in the dead of night, dragging you out of your house so that another man who is giggling can sellotape nettles to your face.
You don't get to choose what you're remembered for and what others think you did best. Michael Jaleel White, the creator, the co-creator anyway, of the Steve Urkel character, he didn't think that would be the apex of his career. It's true. That's what he had to offer that people want the most of.
And I don't think it is the apex of his career, because all of those Sonic cartoons are gold.
Well, they certainly had an impact on some, though they haven't had the same cultural resonance. So I give up the fact that I don't get to decide what I do that people like the most and what's most worthwhile. But I don't think that ending civilization with a beard of stinging things and a team of sad homeless men is the way to win.
We're not ending civilization, we're reshaping it in your glorious image.
What does that even mean? What is my image?
Civilization as we know it is about to die. But that doesn't mean the end of the human race. Kingdoms under heaven, after long periods of unity, tend to divide. After long periods of division, tend to unite. That's the cycle. It's about to divide again, and we can be the architects of mankind's fate.
Well, what kind of world do we want people to live in? Is it a nice one? Is it like a communist kind of everyone has a place and nobody hurts anybody it's
predominantly a place where we tie ropes around the backs of Nissan Stanzas, attach them to wheelbarrows and force people in the wheelbarrows to ride around shouting really loudly, "I'm in a chariot, pretend that Stanza's a horse."
Predominantly, that's what we do?
That's about 30 of the 50 edicts of the new Holy Roman Empire of Jonathan, of Emperor Chungus Holmes.
Oh no! Yeah.
Your name changes a lot as I remember new words that I used to say to you.
So we just do it till the gas runs out and the wheelbarrows are worn away, and then we
do it till I get bored of the Roman stuff, and then name you Pharaoh.
The Egyptians, they sacrificed cats and drank. They gave blood to somebody. Osiris, maybe, built pyramids.
Great ideas.
No.
If you want to sacrifice some cats, I think they worshipped cats.
Yeah, they also killed them.
Second stage of your reign, you abdicate as emperor, rise up as pharaoh, Pharaoh Phrycus Constantinus. Forces all, like, the law is everyone must have a cat, and the cat owns the human.
Oh.
So everyone at that point has to tie a piece of string around their neck and then tie it to the cat and crawl around on all fours with the cat. While you sit on a big wicker chair, while me and Conrad fan you with big leaves, big poisonous leaves, and you wave your hand around saying, "I am the Pharaoh, I am the Pharaoh." And you also get to walk around the streets with one arm up crooked and one arm down crooked behind you, pointing them back and forth, going da 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 da, and you get like really up into the faces of children and old people, just go da 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 da, so that they know you are powerful.
It is confident to do that. It takes a lot of guts, a lot of sense of entitlement, I guess, that a pharaoh might have. Yeah.
I mean, it's not half as entitled as the former Praetorian Guard are betrayed, stripped naked, and forced with whips to build a sphinx of you.
How big would the sphinx
That
be?
was a rough weekend. That was, I mean,
It's a small
sometimes.
sphinx, and fine.
Well, I mean, it's like sometimes you think to yourself, you letting an employee go is for the best for everyone, and you know that that's true, but it's still painful to say, hey, listen, no longer gonna need a Praetorian Guard. I'm afraid we're gonna have to relocate you entirely to Slave Sphinx building.
Yeah. But don't worry. I mean, we're going to try and break it to them gently, because it's not like they have to build the entire Sphinx from scratch. Eventually, under your rule, and frankly terrible financial planning from us, the Nissan Stanzas are going to run out of gas, and we'll have no way to get more gas.
It's the first thing I thought.
Yeah, it's going to be I don't want to say economic collapse. Implosion sounds nicer.
Collapsive sounds just too positive.
I mean, frankly, it's gonna look like season 1 of The Walking Dead outside the streets of Boston. But it'll be good, because, like I say, we're going back to old, traditional, pre-medieval values. So we've got a lot of rusted, flat-tired Nissan Stanzas, and a lot of gummy bears. And glue. Because during the first few nights of looting, I've made sure to get the then Praetorian Guard to steal lots of gummy bears and glue for the eventual second reign that they don't know about. So I'll go up to them, I'll smile, I'll say, hey, slaves now. Do you remember when I made you steal a shitload of golden gum and juicy fruity bears? Right, get those bags of Haribo, start gluing it to that Nissan Stanza. I want you to use that as the basis of the body, and then build a big Jonathan Holmes head out of gummy bears, pop it on the front. He'll walk around it later and say, good, good.
I hate to generalize or stereotype, but I've met a lot of homeless people in my life.
Yeah.
Almost all of them would threaten you or hurt you, maybe chase, stab, bite. I almost got bitten today, actually. That was a surprise. Yeah, it was all right. I didn't, so it's fine.
Well, I'm not too worried.
Yeah,
because I will be at that point holding an ancient Egyptian shotgun. And you can tell it's ancient Egyptian because I painted bits of it gold and wrote Horus on it.
But when all of your basic needs are not being met,
what do you mean basic needs? There's a Nissan Stanza on every street corner, and as many golden glue-covered gummy bears as you can prize surreptitiously off of a very poor approximation of a bald man.
I am not totally bald, but mostly.
There's a predominantly bald man.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a thing that a guy named Maslow came up with. And in order to keep from being in a fight or flight panic state and function properly, you need to have your basic needs met. Shelter, food, and a sense of and sleep and some sense of purpose, or I think the 4 on the bottom, some sense of a reason to go on. I think that's actually a little higher than food. Yeah. And these guys have none of that. They have
no. They have Sterling's hierarchy of needs.
What's that?
Shotguns, Nissans, and Haribo.
That's not that. No one needs any of those. I like Haribo a lot, actually,
Well,
but it's not
that's one of the
gonna.
perks of being Pharaoh of Boston is you get to your pick of the Haribo.
That's good. That's the tasty part of the
Yeah, yeah.
slavery, I
We'll
guess.
we'll need all the gummy bears, but you can have as much Star Mix as you want.
Well, we should talk about Iwata being the new pharaoh of Nintendo of America.
All
Jim,
right,
you
let me
wrote that
just
story.
make sure I said everything I wanted to say about you being Pharaoh.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were just freestyling, but you generate more ideas than you can speak. So
Sometimes, yeah. I I think that's it. I think we're good to go. Excellent. We did good work today, guys.
great job.
Yeah. Okay, Iwata.
He's a pharaoh now.
Uh, you
He's
know,
taking on a culture that is not his own. The American Nintendo culture.
that is true. He has been he's not really been his job hasn't changed, has it? He's just been given a new one.
He has new responsibilities for some reason.
Yeah, on top of his
I'm guessing that because everything Nintendo wise is doing better in Japan right now, or at least 3DS is doing better than America, and the data came back, the fiscal data, not too good. American sales of 3DS were down, I think, but I think they were up in Japan. They got rid of that guy, and Iwata's just like,
well,
I guess I have to do everything around here.
they didn't get rid of that guy, as far
They
as I can
moved him.
tell. They moved him up. He was like, "Oh, you get shareholder position, come back to Japan, have a laugh. You get kicked upstairs."
But how do you
No
get
shame
up
here, no
higher than
shame.
CEO of all of America Nintendo? I mean, that's a huge region. It's technically bigger than Japan in terms of potential
Yeah.
profits.
Well, it's funny because I mean, Iwata has been hinting for a while that he might step down due to recent sort of failures to meet expectations, and then to take this on is quite a firm stance against that suggestion.
Unless he's like segueing down slowly, and then someone else will be president of Nintendo total, and he'll just keep America, maybe?
Who knows?
Hmm.
But I mean, he's certainly a lot better known to American consumers than the other guy was.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd
As
never heard
evidenced
of
by
that other.
I know Satoru Iwata's name. I wrote about the other guy this morning and forgot his name already. So obviously Iwata's got the name value. When American, not just game media, but like actual news journalists talk to a Nintendo higher up, Iwata's the guy they go to,
Hmm.
not the former CEO. It'll be him or Reggie. So he certainly probably has a lot more grasp of the American market than possibly the other guy had. Certainly
Hmm.
more exposure to the public face of it.
Yeah, that other guy, I'd never seen him speak at E3. I've never seen him. I mean, at E3, I've been milling about, and suddenly Iwata and Reggie, and yeah, I think Miyamoto too was just behind me once. But that guy,
Yeah,
maybe I wouldn't have known him if I saw him, but I don't think I've ever even.
I don't think anyone's seen his face.
Mm.
I've got this image of him in a Bastille-like tower with an iron mask on his head. He's just kept up there chained as penance for some awful crime he committed back in Japan. And maybe his sentence is over and they've sent him back. And we'll never see Iwata again. Maybe he's taking his room in the Bastille. The
Well, what is,
Nintendo Bastille.
if Reggie was the president of Nintendo and this other guy was the CEO of Nintendo, then what is Reggie? It's like I feel like the way big video game publishers run, it's like a children's educational show, and they like don't want to tell us that Mr. Rogers actually is the voice of King Friday. They're like, oh no, King Friday is his own man. He goes, yeah, after a long day at work on the show, he goes home to his wife, Queen Friday, and like, no, just tell us who these people are and what they do. Oh, you shouldn't know about them. That would spoil the fun, the illusion
Yeah.
or something. It's weird.
Maybe just like kid shows, when
Uh-huh.
the pet, the animal that's on there dies and they bring on a new one and just call it by that name. Maybe there's been about 9 Reggies. And they just keep getting a new guy who looks exactly like Reggie to come, because Reggie doesn't look human. Maybe he is some like meaty animal they found, and it's just a species of Reggies. And you know the new one dies because they got a lifespan of about 3 years, and they go back into the Fizami forest.
They sound like Oompa Loompas a little.
Pick a new one, yeah, the Reggie Wedgies.
It's but is it just me? Then I'm just feeling it hard right now for whatever reason. Normally I don't feel this that hard. But is it? Oh no, you and your sex thinking. I don't do the sex thinking, so it didn't occur to me. But I feel like that there is a weird. This goes along with the article you wrote earlier, Jim. A weird secrecy to this whole industry because for whatever reason they think they can get away with it, and they also feel like if we knew what they were really like, it would ruin some kind of an illusion. If we knew how they were really running things.
I don't think they I don't no, I don't think that's quite accurate. I don't think they think it works.
They don't
I think
think it works.
No, it works. It just works. It's not that it does.
It does work.
It does work. Short term, I think it works.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think any of them actually know how it works. It's just this precarious Rube Goldberg machine. That's how I see the so-called AAA game industry, as this convoluted, complex collection of cogs and pipes. Just full of little moving parts, and one day one screw is going to fall out and everything will just collapse.
And is that because it's just always been that way, or it's grown into this? Is it just like American society where it's just kind of gotten too big for itself and it's kind of a mess now, or what's going on?
Maybe. I mean, that's typical in business in other areas. Things start small, succeed, get bigger, rapidly expand, and then just fall in on itself. Like a badly baked pie. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Who knows, Jonathan?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch, though. Hopefully, video games will still be good.
Oh,
I think they will always be good.
I can guarantee that before it happens, we'll have enough time to play through the entire Wii U eShop Virtual Console launch library. So we got at least 3 days.
You can play Excite Bike for a while if you choose to.
No, I can't.
You can choose to do it.
I could never make that choice.
Is Ice Climber on there too?
Of course it is. Nintendo's launching a new platform to sell old games. Of course Ice Climber is there.
It is a new old platform. It is the Virtual Console again now on the Wii U. So and then there's a little. They didn't just make it so you can play all the old Virtual Console games right away.
No, of course not. That would be a good thing for us to do and enjoy. No, it's 8 games.
To start.
To start. Might as well be to end. Because by the time they put something on there I give a shit about, I'd have fallen asleep and missed it.
It is weird that they did this whole Wii U launch. I think about it almost every morning. I get up, I see my Wii U controller. I think I like that controller. I like that system. That'll be neat when there's a game to play.
I thought that a lot for much of this year, and then stopped. I don't turn it on anymore. And I know it was cliche to say that with the Wii. It was, it gathered dust and whatever. But is it really a bad cliche to say that when it's literally true? When I've got a Wii U controller that is literally covered in dust.
And the Wii, I was playing the Wii all the time pretty much from launch. The Wii U so far, even Nintendo's not putting games out on it. I mean, Monster Hunter 3 U came out. That's neat. But realistically speaking, it's not a must-buy if you already have Monster Hunter 3. A lot of people are just waiting for Monster Hunter 4. You got Lego City Undercover. That's okay. That is an okay game that is much like other games.
Yeah.
If you want. Nintendo, I haven't even mentioned a Nintendo game yet because they haven't released a Wii U game since launch that I can think of. Have they?
I don't think so.
No, that was November. So December, January, February. Yeah, they should have. I guess they thought Christmas was going to be super good for them or something because they were not ready for this launch at
Yeah.
all.
And I was so excited, especially about their eShop stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
loved the design of that eShop, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to really enjoy browsing this every week. And then the week after launch, nothing.
Yep.
And then the second week after, nothing. And the
Mhm.
third week, nothing. And several more weeks of that, I just lost all interest. And there might be new stuff on there now, but I honestly haven't summoned the energy to care.
I don't think there's been too much in the way of new exclusive stuff. There's Toki Tori 2, which is another okay game, but it's not, from what I've played anyway, it's not different than other games.
They can
Like
eat it.
the
They can fucking eat it. That's where I'm at with them again. Until the next time they release some hardware and I get excited for 2 weeks. Until then, they can eat it.
Well, they
Handful
just
of
shouldn't
dog
have launched it
food.
yet. They launched it too early. I'm still pretty confident that the real launch will be, this year. They're saying Mario Kart's going to come out, Wind Waker HD will come out, a 3D Mario is rumored to be coming out. There'll be stuff that feels like a launch.
They can eat it. I would love nothing more than to have a handful of dog food. Economy brand dog food, not pedigree chum. Just a handful of it and just grab a water by the back of the head and just smush it in my hand and just eat it! Eat it, Iwata! Go on, eat it! Hungry boy! Hungry boy, Iwata! Welcome to America!
I wonder if anything like that has ever happened to him. I really feel as though if Nintendo wants to win big, they can get away. People can get away with murder in this industry. You can put out basically the same game every year, and people will lap it up if you endear yourself to the audience. And if Iwata and Miyamoto start telling stories of that time a man grabbed them and forced them to eat dog food, or that time that a Swedish hooker of undetermined gender was suddenly, tugging at Miyamoto's pants, be like, "Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it." People would love him if he got up and told that story.
They need to tell more stories about that specifically. About ambiguous prostitutes and dog food.
That reminds me, I suddenly had a musical idea for you, Jim, and I was really excited about it one morning. Very stressful week this week at my day job. Two other social workers are out. So I've tripled the patients. They're all very difficult. I had a very strong man almost beat me up today. He means well, but he's not doing all right now. So I've been under a lot of stress, which makes me excited, which then makes me suddenly be like, I want to be a prostitute. I think that would be really good, which is German for good. And I had made up a whole musical for you, thinking about, really idealizing what it's like to be a prostitute, and then you meet some prostitutes and talk to them about it and like try it out. But it's very sweet, kind of like the Book of Mormon. Like you don't really know what you're getting into, and you got this kind of naive, rambunctious optimism that you're going to go out there and change the world. And you have some tough times, but you never get truly sullied. And then by the end, you're like, you know what, guys? I am going to be a prostitute in my own way. And then you become, I don't know, maybe games journalists. We're kind of like prostitutes. We just do stuff for fun and then get paid for it.
I wanted nothing more than to be a whore. But I lived the life, experienced the strife, and now I'm going back to Bangalore.
Well, that was great. This could be a real winner.
Let's do it.
I was explaining to someone on the internet, because I announced this idea on the internet. They're like, so Jim's going to be a woman now? And I was like, no, sometimes men are prostitutes. And they were like, really? They had no idea. Yeah, it's true.
Gigolo.
Yes, there's that whole song by David Lee Roth.
Yeah, solo Roth. Some of the...
Diamond Dave.
Maybe we could get David Lee Roth to help us.
He is ready to help. He doesn't have much else going, and he He's an adventurous guy. He's a troubling guy. He will look at you like that and make a joke he thinks is great, and then you're stuck with it. You got to react to that joke. You know this about David Lee Roth, right?
Is this the story you told us when you spoke to him?
No. I
Oh,
just
who's that?
I don't know who spoke with David Lee Roth. It sounds like something Matthew Razak would do. Some
Uh,
of the celebrities.
I thought there was some celebrity who you met and he made some joke or deprecating remark and...
Let's see. Samuel L. Jackson said some nice enough things. He was really clinging to like 70s catchphrases. Kept saying peace and hair grease, guys. We're like, okay. Daniel Baldwin, he was just horny. Alec Baldwin's, I think, older brother. He's not the one who does drugs that make you skinny. He's the one who does drugs that make you fat.
I
He
like
was
the
horny.
Baldwin that does the Christian films.
Oh, he's the best one.
He
Yeah,
is the best one.
by far. He's the threesome Baldwin too, which makes him special. No, which one is that? He was also in Biodome, right?
I think he was, yeah.
He's
I forgot his name. Anthony...
Steven?
Stephen Baldwin might be.
That might be right.
I do remember there was a big prayer drive once. It wasn't even just prayers. Or was it just prayers? Might have been money too. But there was a big drive for all good Christians around the world to consort with God and get that Baldwin's career back off the ground. With God's... Because, he was all into the Christian stuff. So, clearly they needed him back on top of the world. As a Baldwin belongs.
Who are the most famous Christian actors? It's Kirk Cameron, that Baldwin,
Kirk Hamilton. Is it
Kirk
Cameron?
Hamilton.
Or Kirk Hamilton? No, I mix up the Kotaku writer and the Christian actor a lot. Kirk Hamilton is Kotaku. Kirk Cameron is Christian.
That's right.
Yes.
That's it. Yes. Jesus and Kotaku, the two things you really can't mess up.
Well, that's a question I'll have to research on my own. Who's the most famous Christian actor? It's not Billy Bob Thornton. He had a vial of his own blood and feces around his neck for a while.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to start doing that, Jonathan?
No, I don't.
Can you have a vial of my blood and feces?
I can't. I mean, anything's possible, but I don't want to.
Okay.
Don't want.
Well,
no.
Don't want is... that's a negotiating point. That's a jumping point to further discussion and/or action. So, we'll talk about that later. I'll talk about it when you're not around.
Good. What I don't know doesn't exist, really.
No, until you wake up in the morning.
There's a story I wish was funny about some maintenance guys at a local condominium complex. I might have tried to tell it to you before. They were tough guys, you know. They were like gonna go to jail type guys, maybe with long hair and beards and heavy metal t-shirts. But have I told this story before? Actually, sound familiar?
It doesn't sound that familiar.
All right, I'll get it over with quick. So even if it is old, it won't be old for long. They went to work and they raked leaves and they listened to Judas Priest and Def Leppard, and they would do, I think, cocaine later on at work. And then one day, one of them was really upset that he lost his necklace at work, and one of the coworkers found it, and it had like blood and hair in it. And they were like, "Why do you have a blood and hair necklace?" He was like, "No reason." And then another guy who worked there, we'll call him the blonde one, he noticed this necklace. He was like, "Whose hair is this?" And it looked like his hair. He was like, "Why do you have blood hair necklace of me?" And he was like, "No reason." And then they had sex in a car. And that's the story. I think the guy with the blood hair necklace like put a sex spell on the blonde guy, And either it worked or he was so touched by the romantic, what do you call that? Gesture? Yes.
Yeah.
It was a romantic gesture of like getting his blood and hair, putting it in a necklace.
So if I, Jonathan,
Yeah, you're relating this to us for some reason. Yes.
you know the question. What's the answer?
I'm guessing the question is something about if you get whatever hair I have left and somehow get my blood. I don't
Oh,
know
oh
how.
no. The question. Sorry, the question isn't if. There's no if involved. The question is how much blood and hair before.
It doesn't. I don't think that stuff works. I don't believe
I
in
think if you
voodoo
take
man.
enough, I think if you take enough blood, you will be pretty suggestible.
Yeah, maybe.
I think if I took enough pints and put them in a big necklace, you'll pretty much go along with anything I ask.
Won't I just fall asleep though, or die?
I mean, again, dead is one of those jumping off points. So once we reach that level, there are then options to take.
I not for me. I am dead, but
Not for
it's true.
you, but for me, there's a world of possibility.
I don't even care anymore. I've been thinking about being dead, and then whatever. It's not that bad.
Lovely.
I won't know.
You won't
That's
know.
gonna make all of this a lot easier. Let me.
Oh yeah, that has killed a lot of potential guilt.
I didn't say I'm okay with being dead. I have a lot of stuff I'd like to do, but it's not that scary, I guess.
What do you want to do before you die?
Who, me?
Yeah, there. Let's get a bit philosophical. On
Uh,
Podtoid.
Bucket list.
Sure. I'd like to have some kids, I guess, maybe.
I can get those for you.
I'd like to finish all these projects I started.
I can burn those for you. Okay, so we're 2 for 2. What's next?
You're gonna get kids for me, but burn my projects?
Well, yeah, if the projects are burned, they're no longer your project, ergo, no longer a problem.
I mean, what? Did you expect him to burn your children? What kind of a monster are you?
Yeah, I ain't gonna
No.
burn your children. I will snatch your children, burn your dreams.
I was talking about my goals, the things that mean something to me, not the things I wanted removed from my life.
I'm helping
You
you.
immediately referred to them as problems, my
I'm,
ideals.
I'm checking off your bucket list. I need to get you into a state where you have accomplished and or lost the chance to obtain all of your plans, putting you in a state where you will allow me to put you into a state where I can then start checking off my bucket list.
A state like isn't there a sad movie?
Because let's
about-
face it. Jim probably doesn't have that much time.
Oh no, I mean, let's see. John Candy died at 50. That is my optimistic estimate.
Oh, come on. But
What's
look
next?
at
What's next on your list?
on my list I don't know. I'd like to help my wife and family meet their goals, have a good life, be there for them, to support them.
I'll take care of them. I can offer them a generous stipend.
You can?
Yeah. Yeah.
You mean a cash stipend?
Well, I. How do we put this? Since we're moving on to this plan, I no longer need my Nissan Stantas and gummy bears. So let's put it that way. So, point 3, family taken care of. I've got that in hand. What's next?
Yeah, this is illuminating. I don't know if there's that much other stuff I wanted to do with life. I thought there was. I thought there was a reason I keep going. Just a curiosity, I guess, to see what the world has in store for me and everyone else. Get to know more people, see what they're like.
I think that's the point. Now, a lot of people are interested in self-preservation. A lot of people think, oh, I have so much I wanted to do, so much to accomplish. When you put them on the spot and ask them what they want to do, you find out they are worthless. Get rid of them.
Wow.
Send the physical leftovers to me.
Oh, wait, what?
I'll turn
What
them
did you
into
just say?
something useful. That they can do things for me in death they could do for nobody while alive.
You're gonna like turn them into
I'm gonna fuck them. Mostly. Other things will involve a sewing kit.
wow, that's some deep dark stuff. That's some they can't even put
I'm
that in
interested in your deep dark stuff.
just poop in there. Great. Not interesting. It's just a run of the mill poops.
Oh, you are too humble.
Ah, I guess so.
Too humble
Yeah.
in your own poops.
You wrote another thing, Jim. Let's talk about the things you did.
I've been busy as fuck this week.
Yeah, you have. You suddenly also wrote that op-ed piece on the way video game press and also readers lose focus on things that were pretty serious and revealing about how the industry's run. It's a flavor of the week kind of culture we have going on. At least that's how I took it. But you wrote more in depth about that without pointing any fingers, really. You
No,
really
no,
did
I
a
didn't
nice
have
job
to.
of, yeah.
Some of the lovely boys at NeoCaf pointed the fingers for me. Not necessarily correctly, but they did infer. They named some names that I didn't name that may or may not have been true, as is their right. I love
Sure.
NeoGaf. They're fun. But yeah, this was actually in a response to something John Walker wrote at Rock Paper Shotgun, in which he was talking about the SimCity thing. 'Cause obviously SimCity launched with its always online connection and failed for weeks and all sorts. And they've been trying to get a response from them because Rock Paper Shotgun blew a lot of coverage out of the water with their SimCity stuff. They really knocked it out the park. But you can only take a story so far because at launch there's plenty to talk about, of course. Companies are making their statements to try and wallpaper over the bad PR. They're making promises. We can go back on old things they said and point out, oh, this was bullshit. We did this with Colonial Marines as well. A lot of information came out, a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation, a lot of, people trying to do damage control at the time. And those stories get very big, very intense for 2 weeks tops. And then once the launch period's over, the publishers no longer have to talk about it. They just go totally silent. And any promise for further statements, they don't have to make good on. And eventually, the problem with most press, game or otherwise, is it's a very reactionary thing. You can't really just, unless you're the Onion, you can't make up stories out of whole cloth. So long as EA keeps its head down and shuts its mouth, the SimCity story shrivels and dies and atrophies. That's it. Even if there are still problems going on. And again, this is the same with Colonial Marines, which I wrote about in my article, was, Sega's main website still uses trailers with false footage in them. And what's someone to do? Sega's done talking about it now. Gearbox has moved well on. The only thing you could do would be to just do another post that says, by the way, this is still happening. And not many people are going to do that every day because it just becomes very redundant. But unfortunately, once it becomes redundant enough, then the story dies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's happened with everything. Stuff I still care about, online passes and aliens and SOPA and that kind of stuff, all the political censorship stuff.
The vitality sensor.
Yes. Why not? Why not? This is all stuff that still matters to me, but the opportunities to talk about them become a lot more thinly spread.
Mm.
And that's how the story dies. And at the same time, if the only way to carry it on, to keep talking about these issues, is to start looking like a lunatic. And this is something that has also been exploited, because when the publisher keeps shut and you are trying to, you've still got the passion there, You can do things like Randy Pitchford did with me, where he painted me as a lunatic demagogue who was out to personally injure him. They were his words. Personally injure him with my continued coverage of Colonial Marines. And Peter Moore did this when he knew that EA was going to win the Worst Company in America award again, and preempted it by saying that people are angry at EA because of the gay options in Mass Effect and because of their choice of athletes on the Madden cover. So you've got these companies saying nothing about the actual problems while pointing attention towards things that aren't problems, be it bigotry or vendettas or what have you. And then they get to reconstitute the narrative. And then that can be frustrating. And it can also be frustrating when you get certain readers and certain fellow members of the press who then say, get over it, which I've been told many times about many subjects, because other people stop caring about it and then get angry when they see someone else still caring about it. So they tell them to get over it. I've railed about this for years, what I call aggressive apathy, where they care so much about not caring, they get really angry that you don't care as much as they don't care. And then they really care about you not caring. It's a fucked up thing, but apathy across the board kills a lot of good stories. I think the Colonial Marine story in particular is a fascinating story. Even outside of my personal sort of feelings about the game and about the project and about the promises that weren't made with it, the actual story of what happened there, what went on, still intrigues me. But the culture is such that I can't go any further.
Yeah, you can't find out more. No one will.
Exactly. My anonymous
reveal.
sources have told me all they know. The anonymous sources of others have spilled their beans. The official sources have got their eyes on new horizons. There's nowhere else to go. And unfortunately, we do work in a very PR-controlled environment. Even someone like myself, who has kind of tried to take steps to distance himself from that environment, still a lot of what I do when it comes to like full-on intimate coverage of a particular game, that's all still going to be so much drip-fed from publishers and PR.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the only stories that come out are the stories they want told. It's a difficult, very frustrating thing. The only thing I could conclude in the article was that I'm personally going to keep doing it. I think there are a lot of cool people in the industry that do it, John Walker being one. And even Jason Schreier over at Kotaku has done some, what I think is pretty damn good investigative stuff. And just for those people to just keep doing that, and for the people that don't want to care about it and just want to focus on software and just want to talk about games and leave all the controversies alone, I understand and get that, and I don't blame them for that. But the only thing I ask from them is they offer me that same understanding. And that, okay, you don't give a shit, other people do. So let them give a shit and don't demand they get over it. Because trying to drown someone out over a subject they're passionate about. And I understand that passion on the internet is considered a faux pas in many areas. But to try and drown those people out, you're just becoming a brick in the stone wall that the publishers want erected. So that was basically the gist of the article. I rambled on for ages. I don't think I made much sense, but
No, that was passion and wonder. People, that's the stuff people. It's people, Jim. They watch or listen to this show because they know you from the things you do when you talk about what you think. They love it.
the people listen to this show because they want us to talk about bumholes and.
I don't think so. We started doing that, and when I say we, I mean you, of course, a while ago. And they've just like, well, I guess we'll just talk about bumholes. I'll get into this. And
I don't
then
know. I mean, the Shattered, as we call Podtoid fans, the Shattered. I believe one of them, because there's a lot of talk at the moment about Destructoid doing like a subscriber thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how much of that's been publicly
Just started to hint at it this week publicly, I think. Yeah.
But we've been asking the community what they want, and one of them said they want a Podtoid. They want to pay for a Podtoid with all game references removed. Just all of it. Just that's the worst bit of Podtoid. Get rid. So that's the fan base we're talking about. The Shattered, who already have put a page up for themselves on the Podtoid wiki for their page for The Shattered. So that's good. There's a Podtoid fan group on Facebook, Jonathan.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
I've never been.
I have never been more glad that you don't use Facebook. I have never been more glad.
That's very sympathetic of you. Yeah, I take it you're putting yourself in my shoes and imagining what it would be like for me to check out this Facebook.
I'll be honest.
Uh-huh.
I was reading Twitter and Facebook last night and just shook my head and muttered to myself, poor Jonathan. I do feel sorry for you sometimes. But like all addicts, like all sufferers of a disease, I can't stop. So I shouldn't try.
I'm very curious, though. What are they doing on the Facebook?
Oh, are you curious?
I'm curious. I'm not furious.
You open the floodgates.
Yeah, tell me.
In that case, I'm going to read you something.
All right. You don't have to quote it. I'm just.
Oh no, I'm going to quote it all now.
General idea. Okay.
This will give you a general.
You don't want something like this. You don't want to get that wrong.
Yeah.
You have to make sure it's correct.
Sorry, I'm just adjusting my microphone here. This is a bit annoying. I hope I'm not making bad noises on it.
No, you sound fine.
Okay, here we are. This was uploaded yesterday by Matthias, of a European surname that I can't pronounce. Jostrand. Matthias Jostrand. He's designed the Jonathan Holmes Love Doll.
Oh.
By Sterling Core.
Already. Oh.
The picture he's done is your face, Jonathan, cut out and put over Dolph Lundgren's body from the Masters of the Universe film.
He's pretty fit in that movie.
Oh, he's pretty fit. He's done it quite well. Like, Dolph Lundgren's golden flowing hair is behind your head, so it looks like it's yours. So you've got a beautiful mullet and dazzling chest. The doll has realistically massive bulge action.
Whoa.
And because he respects the anal embargo on this show, he's put a little disclaimer, anus not included. So that's good, isn't it? Now let's read the description. It's Chungus time. You have always wanted to spend an evening with Holmes and his firm chocolate flesh husk. Now it's your chance to own your very own Jonathan Holmes. Live the life of Jim Sterling and have your way with Holmes. Pin this Holmes down and suck on his plump juicy toes, and then stick your tongue down his tight little ear. In fact, make use of every one of his 8 dripping and quivering love holes. He
8?
won't... Yes, he won't ever say, no, please stop, you are hurting me, or why are you doing this to me, to you again. Order now and get your very own Conrad mustache ride toy. How's that?
People, sincerely, you know how it is with the world. You can say anything and not 100% mean it. And some portion of the population will not notice that it's clearly not true, and then they'll tell other people sincerely. And for some reason, these people, I guess they're smart because other people listen to them. So a lot of people are just like, "Wait, you're married?" To me, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm married." They're like, "To Jim?" Like, no, we're not actually romantically involved. They're like, "Yeah, you are." Like, no, I'm not. They're like, "Oh, come on. You don't have to be in the closet with us. It's all right. We listen to the show." I'm like, "No, we don't even live in the same state. Come on." Like, this is a fairly regular thing over the past couple weeks. I don't know if there's been a change in attitude. Maybe it's this Facebook page. I don't know. People really think that we're married.
Well, I'd like to think we are. Maybe not legally, or spiritually, or physically. I think in some way that isn't measurable by human understanding, we are married. I posted on the Facebook page the other day. I said I wanted to change your name, Jonathan, to Bare Knuckle.
Oh, yeah.
I want to call you
What does
Bare
that mean?
Knuckle.
What does that mean?
I just want you that. My friend Louis Falls, who I used to live with back in England, got banned from Facebook for posting on there. But the picture's still up. It's a picture of you, Jonathan, with "Don't mention my butt" written. And then just lots of graphic close-ups of anuses posted in a
Really?
collage behind you.
Louis. What was he doing? What are you doing? What are you doing all night? Getting those heinous pictures and photoshopping them together. That's a project.
If
It
you
doesn't
knew
just
Louis
happen.
the way I know Louis, then it would make sense.
Yeah.
I do like Louis.
Sounds like a fun-loving guy.
Yeah. But that's kind of the stuff that they do in between putting messages on my Facebook wall saying "Where's Podtoid?"
It is interesting that I don't know if I've changed or something's changed, but it seems like Podtoid listeners are trying to annoy you a little bit more, and me a little bit less, I think. Notice that.
I think what happens is it's just because this used to happen on old Podtoid as well.
Yeah.
As soon as they find out that you've noticed a thing, they will then do the thing a lot.
Ah.
So they know, like, you noticed anus, they did anus a lot. And now I've noticed them all asking for Podtoid, so they ask for Podtoid a lot.
That's fun.
Yeah, I've noticed lately some Podtoid fans have given me lots of porn and money. It's really annoying to me that I get sent lots of porn and money. You know, maybe some Gianna Michaels videos.
Gianna Michaels. Is
Yeah.
that
That
like
is the
Bret Michaels?
worst. There's nothing worse than getting a huge pile of Johnny Michaels videos
Johnny
and
Michaels?
cash.
Yeah. If I see one more Gianna Michaels or Bailey J video, I will be furious.
Who's Bailey J?
Your
If we get
future.
just one more email from PayPal sending money to podtoid@destructoid.com, I swear to God, I'm just gonna lose my mind.
Do we have our own PayPals
I'll be
now?
fit to be tied. If people find my Amazon wish list on Amazon and buy me more Aliens toys, and then throw in a dildo that I've been too embarrassed to put on the wish list that I had on briefly and then took off because I realised it looked too serious, I
The
will be
dildo look too serious, or the list look too serious for the dildo?
both.
Dildos do look serious sometimes.
Dildos are very serious business, and if I get sent some, I will.
Have you ever bought a dildo for someone? You ever just
Don't
bought
worry.
one?
Don't worry about making it too big.
What, the dildo?
If you are trying to annoy me, it can be as big as you like, and I will definitely hate it.
The bigger it is, the more annoying it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Annoying.
There's nothing more frustrating than a huge prosthetic cock.
Yeah.
They can get in the way.
And you don't need to worry about lubrication. That's sorted. For me
What?
to be angry with. For me to be furious. So angry, I will be shaking. Up and down.
On the
With
dildo?
tears in my eyes. That's how mad I'll be. Red-faced and bouncing. So don't do that. Yeah. My name on Amazon's just Jim Sterling.
That's how they find you.
Not that I want them to.
No.
No.
It'd be annoying.
I should update that wish list, put some more alien stuff on it.
I forgot I had one. One guy asked me to do one, and then I did, and then he bought me things off it. And that was really nice of him. Sir J the First.
Oh.
Very nice guy. Yeah, I don't know why he did it, but he did it, so thank you.
Brian Green got me some lovely stuff. He got me the alien hands that I've used in Jimquisition.
Oh, yeah.
And he's so kind, he sent me a message. I didn't respond to him on Facebook, but I'll respond to him now. It's okay, Brian. I don't really want any more cum tributes. It was that I felt was weirder than someone doing it. Was someone so politely saying, "Do you want some cum tributes? Because I can do them." As casual as you like. You're a great guy, Brian, but I don't need to see any more splack off of my listeners.
Did he do one? You mean any more? He's done one?
Oh no, he just meant in addition to the ones I talked about last week.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
People
okay.
really did those? Wow.
Yeah, I didn't need any more cum tributes.
Well, there's one other video game thing I was going to ask you.
What's
If you
that?
want. You too, Conrad, of course. I was interested in Nordic, buying those THQ properties, specifically Darksiders.
Why? They're just gonna publish them on platforms and earn revenue on them, and that's gonna be that. They're not in a position to develop, I don't think.
Well, aren't we sad, Conrad? You and me, we're sad, right?
I am a little bit bummed that the door is almost certainly closed on Destroy All Humans. Yeah, I'm pretty sad about that.
That
I don't
series
know.
had potential.
Yeah,
It was a
did.
fun idea.
I liked the first game enough.
I even liked the second one. It was after that it really kind of, yeah, I was over it.
I
But
reviewed the last one they did for Destructoid, actually.
Path of the Furon, right?
Something like that. It wasn't good.
Yeah, like I loved the possess any NPC character sort of stealth play because it really was really heavily rooted in stealth for like a 3D action exploration game. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah?
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it came out about that time in The Last Generation, the original one, when that was kind of a big deal. The whole disguise thing. People really liked that disguise thing for a while. You had games like Second Sight and Psyops, like Possession of guys. And,
Yeah.
the Capcom one, Under the Skin.
Oh, yeah. I like that
Under
game a
the
lot.
Skin. There was a whole little, just this mini brief movement of games where disguise was a big thing. I miss that. I like a good disguise. I always liked. So one of the highlights of Snake Eater was the whole when you get to dress up as Radonovich.
Have you played Spy Fiction yet, Jim?
No.
Jim, play Spy Fiction.
Okay.
Play Spy Fiction so hard.
Whoa.
I can't believe you haven't played this. It's the game Swery did before Deadly Premonition.
Ah, yes. I knew it sounded familiar. Yeah, Swery, I didn't really discover his stuff until Deadly Premonition.
It's well, I had bought it. I don't want to say like by mistake, but I had seen it forever. It was always like $5. Like everywhere I looked, I would see Spy Fiction for $5, and I eventually bought it. And I found out that it was the game that he'd done before Deadly Premonition, after Deadly Premonition was out and all of that, and then went and played it.
Yeah.
And it's this, like, in the same ways that you can say Deadly Premonition is this sort of homage to a Twin Peaks, small town mystery type of story. This is the high octane espionage gadget, centered espionage movie franchise.
Mm.
That's what it is. So it's like ridiculous villains with a ridiculous plan. Forrest Kaysen's in it. So there, sold. And it's stealth-based gameplay that combines, like you could do ceiling crawls and all of that shit, but you can also disguise yourself as anyone by scanning them from a distance. And then there are puzzles where you have to scan certain types of people or this, that, and the other. It's great fun. A really good game.
What's it on?
PlayStation 2.
Oh.
It was on PlayStation 2. It might have had an Xbox release also, but PS2.
Oh, pretty neat.
It's a good game. You should play it.
And Deadly Premonition Director's Cut's coming out, what, next week? 2 weeks?
Yeah. I should be getting that tomorrow, hopefully.
Oh,
for review purposes.
Very excited for that.
Yeah. I've been looking for a good excuse to replay it, and there's no better excuse than that, I guess.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but I didn't hate the combat. I wasn't impressed with it. It was just, it was like a weak Resident Evil 4. It was all right, but they've talked a lot about how they've changed it.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Like I said, I mean, the combat was definitely weak, but as I said in my review at the time, anything bad about the game served to reinforce its train wreck quality that made it so endearing.
Sure.
I am worried that they may improve it to the point where it just becomes mediocre. I'm hoping not. Obviously, I'm hoping not. So we will
Well,
see.
I've got a bad stomach. Can I end the show-ish soonish? Can I do the questions-ish now-ish? I almost came home from work early. I thought I was going to puke.
Ugh.
My stomach feels weird. I don't want to throw up mid-show. At least not a lot.
I would like you to throw up mid-show, but
That would be yucks. I would get it on my hands, I guess, probably. Some area.
That's true. I would like to see you with that on your hands, but I'm not. I'm not near you enough, so it'd be a waste of time.
Yeah, you can just hear it.
It would be a waste of good vom. Okay, let's get the questions and get this wrapped up.
Yeah. Bursts Supernova asks, is there a game that's been ruined by growing up? By which I mean video game. So I think he's asking, is there a video game that we no longer like because we're older? I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to look at that question, I suppose.
I guess that's the question. We've grown up and seen things differently.
Yeah.
I can't think of one, actually.
I haven't gone back and played Final Fantasy VII in a while. Ruined is a strong word. Resident Evil 2 definitely doesn't affect me now like it did then. Back then it felt like a really intimidating experience. Now it just feels like an interesting kind of arcadey experience, but I don't feel any sort of threat from those shambly, framey, boxy zombies anymore. So, not ruined though. Maybe the old Taboo tarot card game on the NES. I don't know why I liked that in the first place. Yeah, so maybe now games that should have been ruined for me from the start, I now know are not good.
Right, yeah, I think that's kind of the question. It's like things looking back on things and realizing, oh, that really wasn't a very good game.
Yeah. That's scary, though, isn't it? Because in 20 years, we could be looking at the stuff we think is so great now and be like, oh, terrible.
Like Green Dog, the beached surfer dude.
Green Dog?
Yeah, that game's not very good. Chicken is also not a very good game.
Green Dog is a game?
Yes.
What system?
Sega Genesis. Green Dog was one of the characters that they were kind of bandying around as possibly being a mascot for Sega going forward before they settled on Sonic.
Really?
Yeah, there was like them and Toe Jam and Earl and a couple others, and they were using them in all the marketing to try and, I guess, test which one played better or whatnot. None of the games, I think, performed all that well. Toe Jam well enough to get a sequel and is a cult classic now. But Green Dog died the death it deserved.
There were some games I used to see on TV or in magazines as a kid, and because I was a child and below working class, I could never afford them. And then when I grew up, I was in a position to play them, and then they weren't good. That counts. Zool being one of them. Always wanted to play Zool, and then I played Zool, and it wasn't good.
It's just a big Chupa Chups ad, isn't it?
It is just a big Chupa Chups ad, yeah.
Yeah.
Just Chupa Chups lollipops everywhere.
Great logo, though. Like, with the name and the eyes for the Intergalactic Ninja. And come on,
yeah.
what's not to love about Zool, the Intergalactic Ninja? That rolls right off the tongue.
Oh, yes. They used to be so blatant with those advertising games back then as well. The Chupa Chups, the Biker Mice from Mars Snickers one. And
Snickers bar?
Snickers bar. Oh. And Cool Spot, of course.
Yeah, he's the 7-Up guy.
Great game.
Really?
I didn't care for Spot Goes to Hollywood that much, but Cool Spot was awesome.
Cool Spot was a good little game.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
It
Not
was
for me to
decent.
believe. I guess I should play it. I've seen it
Sure.
around. Little spindly legs.
What?
More
And then they had
questions.
Spot on the NES, and that was just like not Othello exactly, I don't think, but it was like a similar type of game. That wasn't bad.
It was
Anyway,
just,
sorry.
interesting. So it was Cool Spot and then what, like green?
Uh, yeah,
Just
I
a
think
green
it was
spot?
red and green, and they'd get up and like walk across the board and then flop down. Had little animations. It was cute.
Oh, that sounds alright. Yeah, I'll buy that. Pillow Ford asks, are you okay with owning socks that have holes in, or do you throw them out right away? I don't care about anything, particularly holes in socks. I wouldn't care if every article, as long as nobody bothered me, I would wear just a rag. I would wear a dirty caveman fur. So yeah, nobody looks at my socks. They can have all the holes. They can just be a giant. I think I did wear socks once that I just put my foot through, and then it went all the because the end was a hole, and there was some sock on me. So when I wore shoes, it looked like I had a sock on, but in reality, most of my foot was unsocked. I don't
Wow.
care.
I've got
Some
this image of you just socks with the ends off, both of them, your toes poking out,
Mhm.
and red long johns with one of those poop flaps at the back.
Yeah, sign me up. If I could go to work like that every day and no one would bother me, absolutely. I don't care at all.
I
Uh,
wear socks out in the heel. I wear shoes out in the heel, like not because of my, I don't know. I guess I buy shoes that are just a little too big or something, so my foot flops around inside them, and so I'm wearing holes through the back of the leather of the shoe. It's pretty fantastic. But every once in a while, that means I develop this hole in the heel of my sock, and that's the point at which I kind of have to replace them, or I'll develop some awful blister, and that'll be a completely different callus, and it's going to change the shape of my foot in some awkward fashion. And then when I finally do get around to getting new shoes in like 3 more years,
Mm.
um, it's going to be a nightmare to work those in around the calluses again. So I'm pretty careful about that.
I I get bothered by holes in socks, but
Really?
not enough to do anything about it. So I will just spend a while pissed off, but too lazy to raise my standing in life. I'm weird with socks. I have to spend half the day wearing them and half the day not wearing them. Otherwise, I get very frustrated with life. I can't eat with socks off. If it's dinner time or lunchtime, I've got to locate some socks and put them on. I won't feel good eating barefoot. There are
What
other
about
things
picnics?
I
What
don't.
about at the beach?
Ugh, no.
You wear socks at the beach when you have an ice cream cone?
Some I rarely go to the beach anyway.
It is hot.
On
Yeah.
those occasions, I might take the shoes and socks off. I won't be happy about it. I will not be happy about it. Um, but when I'm indoors, like I said, the socks. I'll often carry socks in my pocket so that I can put them on and take them off at will.
That's amazing, really?
It's yeah.
I'm gonna frisk you for socks next time I see you. That's not sexual either.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I just want to see if you got socks on. There's socks with you in your pockets. That's all.
That sucks.
Well, that was a very good question. I had no idea it was gonna open up so much.
Lots
Fun
of different
stuff.
lifestyles.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
put my shoes on in the morning when I wake up, and then I take them off again when I go to bed.
I wish I didn't have
That's
to wear any shoes.
I'm a shoe person. I love shoes.
I could
I
see you
love not
adapting.
having my feet exposed to the outside. And the thing is like I could just wear socks, but then my feet would get dry because they're not sweating enough from being inside the shoe and like
Oh,
creating that sort of nice moist sensation.
what? So your shoes
Well,
are like
it's just
little sock saunas to
yeah, to
keep you
keep my feet
moist?
feeling moist. Yeah, because if
Ah,
they feel dry and icky, then I'll just be really unhappy.
man, these are things I don't notice. A lot of things.
And you rub one toe over the other toe, and it slides too much, and you don't want that. You want some friction there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit of grip to it.
And I can't walk around anywhere just in socks anyway, because then dust and everything gets all over the socks, and that's just gross. So, shoes. All the time.
I forgot to ask you guys about the Microsoft presentation that was announced, and someone else remembered. Brian Conme, who is
You see, last week we were making fun of them for suggesting to talk about the thing that, was new and hot that we'd already talked about. Now here we are at the end of the show.
But here's the thing. Microsoft can eat it.
Them too?
They eat it.
What should they eat it for?
Bulma, eat the dog food. I don't need you to sell me a fucking Netflix box. I have a smart TV now. It does it faster and better than your Xbox. Because you're barely going to sell us games on it. They're trying to push everything as, they want to be the entertainment hub of the world now. My smart TV does all of Xbox's non-game services better. So they're going to need to show us some fucking video games, because I don't even care about their hardware anymore.
I'd assume that that's going to be a big push.
Well, I assume they talk about games at E3 every year, and they fucking haven't the past two.
Yeah, maybe they've been saving them up.
Maybe.
Could be good. I am open to the idea. I have no... for a lot of people, the Xbox brand just strikes a chord. It goes past the conscious mind and hits just their instincts or whatever. And they're like, oh, Xbox, that feels good. Oh, Xbox, yeah, good times. Not me. I've had very few good times with the Xbox, but I would love for that to change. I really... I feel like they try to do something different every time. Maybe this is the time they do something with their console that I care about. Maybe.
It's an American brand, Holmes.
It is, I guess.
American brand.
I like American brands a little bit, I like burgers.
You're keeping your money at home where it belongs instead of sending it to Asia like our government does.
I feel like a citizen of the world, and everyone can have some money or give me a thing. It doesn't matter what country you're from. Just give me a thing that's good. And maybe Xbox will do that. Maybe they'll make it. Maybe it'll be orange this time. Maybe it'll be orange and play, tons of TurboGrafx games. That would be cool.
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter, because I've heard a rumor that on May 20th, North Korea's going to announce a game console.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to play up to 5 ColecoVision games. So, watch out, world. The console wars are just getting warmed up.
That would be pretty. I'm imagining Iwata doing a press conference. And I never tried to impersonate Iwata before, so I'm afraid to try, but him being like, North Korea's new system is looking very nice. Many classic games, similar to the Wii U Virtual Console rollout, and them doing a side-to-side of ColecoVision versus Ice Climber and stuff.
That actually wasn't bad.
That would be a race. That would be a real race, especially since the lead title, the launch title for the ColecoVision console was a Nintendo game.
Donkey Kong!
Boom!
ColecoVision Donkey Kong. Around. I don't know which one I would rather play, Ice Climber or one of the worst Donkey Kong ports.
Oh, the ColecoVision Donkey Kong is not bad.
Every Donkey Kong is okay.
They won't have the rights to it anyway, so it will be an approximation called Dunkus Kunk. It'll be the Chungus Vision. That'll be the name of the system. It'll launch with Dunkus Kunk, Ice Slimers, and balloon scraps.
It could happen.
Yeah.
The new North Korea guy is apparently really thinking outside of the box. He invited Dennis Rodman over there.
Urban Chumblebum 3D.
It wouldn't take a whole lot of money. Be cheaper than the Ouya.
We should launch our own console.
I think that was one of the questions. I can't find it. There's so many questions now. Stuff about Moulin Rouge, stuff about Nordic. Oh, we asked that. I guess we talked about that amongst ourselves.
They're always asking us questions about things we've discussed.
Yeah, well, that shows that they do think like us, which is nice. But there was a question. Oh, yeah, Alex Brown. You guys are now Podtoid Studios. What games are you guys currently working on? I guess the Chungus Kong is the first game.
Stunkus Kunk. and Ice Chungus.
Ice Chungus. How about you, Conrad? You've been working on your Max Headroom game for a while in your mind.
Yeah, that's been
It's a
on my.
cool
Well,
game.
actually, I do have a text adventure that I'm still working on, which hopefully will be done at some point. Like I go take walks, and I think of all of the things I want to implement while I'm on my walk, and then I get back to the house and I go back to work, and I never implement any of the great ideas that I had while I was on my walk. One day soon, I'm gonna say, "God damn it! I'm gonna spend 2 hours a night working on this for the next 2 months, and I'll make 2 hours of progress that night."
I will say, Robert Florence and myself were chatting yesterday, and half joking, but also deadly serious about finding the rights to the most obscure, cheapest old game license we can, and then buying it and doing it. We currently, because Justin McElroy says he knows through a friend someone who has the rights to this, so we are hoping one day to reveal Night Trap 2.
That could be huge.
We want to buy an old license. If not Night Trap, I'm thinking of some others. Whizball, Head Over Heels, some like old Commodore 64 licenses that have been long forgotten, that we can just dust off, just buy it for a song, and then, I don't know, Kickstarter or something.
Night Trap would really play to your strengths, though.
Trap, yeah, I mean, what's it? Dawn Trap, someone suggested we call it. Some sort of Night Trap follow-up. I really want to see it happen.
There's so many questions coming in. But my stomach feels bad. I'll do a couple more because they're trying hard. They're coming up with questions that they really want to know what we care. I mean, they care what we think. They really want to know what we think. They care. It's nice. Patrick McNulty asks, what's the line between a sequel being just similar enough and being too similar, a la Dead Island Riptide? And I know that Deep Silver and Aubrey Deep Silver is reiterating frequently not to think of Dead Island Riptide as a sequel, but more of a retail expansion or a side story. I can't remember how she put it. But people go into it with the expectation of a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't work when you're selling it for almost the same amount of money. You expect it to be, substantial in some way. For me, I would say that the difference between it being acceptable and not is whether the original concept was so good, you can get away with doing it again. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's so good people want more of it, sure. The problem is with Dead Island, a lot of people got bored of Dead Island's premise halfway through the first game. And therefore, they already got everything they could from it. So just releasing it again was too much more of the same. Mm-hmm. It wasn't exciting to a lot of people. For me, of course, I found it because if you're just going to do the same, if you're going to reuse all the assets, have the same engine, basically not just reuse the ideas, but reuse whole chunks of game code, I want to see some improvement somewhere. And Dead Island was a game that needed a lot of improving. You can't have an if it's not broke, don't fix it attitude when the original had a shitload of stuff to fix. Because it is broke, do fix it. So to have the same game with the same screen tearing, the same frame rate chugs, the same graphical glitches, the same animation fuck-ups, that's not acceptable.
Well, that begs the question to me anyway. I'm sure other people will be thinking it. Is it acceptable, or at least more acceptable, if you come up with a new idea, you take a risk on a new IP, and you give some new gameplay ideas? I think Dead Island felt kind of fresh with its focus on hand-to-hand combat instead of filling the screen with zombies that you just shoot up. It felt like a more kind of desperate, gross, up close and personal thing. So that freshness may be counteracted or canceled out a little bit of the irritation feeling you might have had with the flaws, but without that freshness going for it, the follow up couldn't get away with it. Am I hearing that right?
I think that's part of it as well. I said as much in the review. You know, Dead Island had uniqueness on its side. One of the biggest strengths of Dead Island was there was nothing quite like it on the market. When Dead Island Riptide's out, there is something exactly like it on the market. It can't claim that like its biggest saving grace anymore. And we see this with other games. Gears of War 3, with a few outlets, scored lower than Gears of War 2 and 1 did. Because every idea only has a finite amount of mileage in it. And that mileage varies by idea, which is why I scored Modern Warfare 3 highly and Mario Kart 7 not so highly. Fuck off. Every idea has a finite and different amount of mileage in it. And Dead Island, just the idea itself had enough mileage to make one good game. Whatever Dead Island 2 is, I think they're going to have to really shake that idea up.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully that message will be sent to them for their sake, because they don't want to screw up and make a game that people don't like that much.
I think they forgot that Dead Island basically got away with it. That's what it is, and it's a fun game, but it's got a lot of flaws. But it was just exciting enough, just fresh enough, just fun enough to get away with it, and that's not strong enough success for you to be able to pull that trick twice.
Well said, as always, Jim. There's a question about boobs. I don't know if we're not qualified to answer it, but I will ask it anyway, because it'll get people thinking. That's always good. Somniferous Lottie, who has a cute little pixel lady as his or her avatar, says some really interesting things. Like, I'm sick of retro games. Then I'll be like, what? Look at the little pixel avatar. Like, oh, not that one. And then in this case, similarly, bringing up breasts with a breast avatar, or breasts on the avatar. Dragon's Crown and Senran Kagura, : are breasts bad, and should female game characters never have them, ... question mark. Those dots were for thinking, I think.
That's an oversimplification of what happened with Dragon's Crown.
For me, I'll speak briefly on it. I care more about how, and boy, this annoys a lot of people when I say this. I care more about what women think about how women are depicted in video games. I feel like, for me, it doesn't have a lot of impact. So what I think and feel, I'm happy to express my opinion about it, but I don't think my opinion matters as much because it doesn't affect me as much. The way women are depicted in video games sets up different ideas for role models for women. It also sets up expectations for women on standard of beauty and concepts of where they should exist in our culture. So it matters. It affects them directly. For me, oh yeah, it's a little annoying to be pandered to with just boobs again. I don't really care about that. Or, I feel like this might be harmful to somebody else other than me, or be harmful to culture in general, but it's not as direct. So I feel like, boy, would I be happy if we talked more about women in the actual game industry and where they lie, and less about what all these dudes think about how women are depicted in video games. I want to know how women feel about it, and also just talk about actual human women in the game industry. That'd make me happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, I don't know, I've been thinking about the Dragon's Crown thing on and off today. I really haven't fully formed my opinions on it yet. I don't know
And is
if I
there a
want
specific
to.
thing I don't know? I mean, it's the same character design that's been around for a while, right? With like big butts and
Um,
stuff.
yeah, I mean, we've got the sorceress and the Amazon characters, and
Mm,
they've been designed for Dragon's Crown to have massive arses and giant legs
mm,
and big, big sticky out boobs and tiny little heads with childlike faces. It's a weird art style.
mm.
And Jason Schreier over at Kotaku said that the characters must have been designed by 14-year-old boys. And the artist said that he responded by saying, well, Jason didn't like the sorceress or the Amazon, so I've designed something that he might like. And then he had lots and lots of, I guess, the dwarf character. Um, Basically a big bearded, half naked, muscular man. Just lots of him, all piled on each other, flexing their muscles, which some people thought was somewhat homophobic. And it didn't look good because the implication therefore is, well, you don't like this woman, you don't like this woman, therefore you are gay, and that is funny. And that's certainly how it looked. Whether he
Oh
intended
boy.
that or not, I don't want to ascribe motives to the man, but that's how it looked. And he apologized for that. But the whole thing, there's been a massive falling out over, is this right, is this wrong?
Mm.
And it's it's a difficult one because the overwhelming emotion I have with the Dragon's Crown thing is every time I see the drawing of the Amazon, I feel physically ill. Not because I'm offended, but because it looks like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would look if Krang was bipedal and female. Just lumpy, fleshy, misshapen, squidgy, muscular. It looks like a Silent Hill monster. This
So is it?
tiny head with so few facial features, she may as well be faceless, and just overt, like a twisted mockery of the female form. It's very much like something James Sunderland's subconscious would drag up. I find it very strange and I find it disturbing to look at. I don't find it attractive. I don't find it even well designed. It's not a design I like at all. I find it very ugly.
Well, that's something that I feel like is a pet peeve of mine, which is people will not like something. They'll not like the style of it. They'll not like the ideas behind it. And they're offended by it even existing because they dislike it. So they'll try to hurt it by saying it's sexist or racist. I had the feeling that when people are on a tear about Tiny Tina, they just didn't like the writing and they thought it wasn't funny and kind of annoying. So then they thought, oh, I can also tack on racist to that to really attack the person who made it and kind of punish them for making something I don't like. And then on the other
Well,
hand,
and
of course,
and you may not want to attach such a an intent behind it as well. They could be playing along the game, decide they don't like that, hear some specific comment that could easily be interpreted the wrong way,
mm,
and then make that connection that that's the reason they don't like it. I mean, it's
mm,
not
And the
necessarily that they're seeking out a reason to
yeah.
dislike it.
At the same time, I mean, they could not. I certainly wouldn't want to undermine someone's feelings on something by
Right.
ascribing a false motive to them.
sure.
Some people. I mean, like Jason's argument against it was juvenile. He thought it was a very juvenile, sort of teenage-minded design, and that was his opinion. Ben
Sure.
Kuchera, I think, wrote about it today, and he found it. He felt the problem was that it was one more on top of just a pile of this male gaze design stuff.
Mm,
He said, he's grown quite tired of his 9-year-old daughter seeing him play a game or write about a game and look at a design of a female character and just point at it and say that looks stupid. Because to her it does look stupid. As a girl, she's seeing these female characters dressed inappropriate for the situation they're in, and approaches it from that point of view of, well, that just looks dumb. And Ben said he'd like to be able to play these games with his daughter and enjoy them with her and not play a game with her that both of them know is designed just for his salacious amusement. So that was his point of view. My point of view is that I just find them mentally disturbing. But then again, I mean, some people enjoy them, and it's been pointed out that the style is supposed to be a celebration of the old style Dungeons and Dragons, Conan art kind of stuff. The kind of stuff my dad would have on his wall.
Sure. Like
back in the 80s.
Sort of. Sure.
Yeah.
I've heard some women say that they love the character with the huge legs and butt because they're like, I have a huge legs and butt. You don't see any of that. You see Beyonce, and that's about it in terms of pop culture celebrating that. So yeah, thank you for celebrating huge butts, guys.
That's great. They don't look like Beyonce. the characters in Dragon's Crown.
Well, that's the thing. Beyonce has a huge legs and butt, I guess, but not that huge.
Yeah,
these are people with truly.
This is
enormous...
Funhouse Mirror type stuff. But again, I mean, some people enjoy that, and I don't know.
Breasts are not bad.
No, I mean that's certainly to answer the guy's question. Breasts are not bad, and they should not be hidden from the world. No, sexualized stuff, most people generally accept is fine. It's when it goes from someone owning their sexuality to someone basically handing their sexuality over to the male audience. And there is a difference, and I don't know if video games have reached a point where they can tell or celebrate that difference.
Yeah, well said again. Good talking. I have to go. I don't know if I think I'm going to be okay. Yeah, I bet I'll be all right. Maybe I'll be better tomorrow. It's going around. People are throwing up. It's the end of the show. I can't talk no more. Want to wrap it up, guys?
Let's do it. Why don't you tell us what you're doing, Jonathan Holmes, this week?
I am doing Sup Holmes on Sunday with Mike Lowhouse of Lee Grudge and Rugged. And I think his partner Vico may be there too. Vieco. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. They're guys I don't know at all. I like their games. They made a game called Crunch. That was pretty cool. It's kind of a death trap escape fun time game. I think it's on the Steam. I think it's on the computers. You can play it. They've also weirdly, I didn't know them. I still don't know them, but what we've talked about probably the most on email is I needed someone to help me do video capture on Teenage Pokemon, and they just helped me out. That was months ago now. Geez, December, January maybe? They're like, oh yeah, we'll just do that, random stranger, and I had to trust them to do it, because if not, the show wouldn't have existed. And they did. So thanks, guys. Not that I'm biased towards them. I probably shouldn't review their games now, because we've kind of worked together on a thing. But I can certainly invite them to a show to talk about making their own video games. And specifically, I want to ask them how they feel about the backlash towards pixel-based, low-res graphics that I've witnessed. A lot of games on Kickstarter are still utilizing that art style, and I feel like there must have been a point when people would just go for that art style because it gave them feelings of nostalgia, and now they kind of feel like their sense of nostalgia is getting exploited, and they feel like they're getting played by developers using that style just to try to manipulate them into feeling something for the game. So a lot of those low-res games are not doing as well on Kickstarter as they used to. That'll be fun to talk to them about how they witnessed that whole thing and just get to know the guys. I always like to get to know the guys. They're good guys. We got to know Tom Hewlett last week on Sup Holmes. He is now at WayForward. He is working on a game. He would not tell me what it is, but he did allude to the fact that WayForward does licensed games very well, and then kind of left it at that. Interesting dude. He spearheaded a lot of stuff for Silent Hill, Though he was also quick to not take responsibility for a lot of things that happened on Silent Hill. It's interesting to get that perspective from him now that he's no longer at Capcom. Really love Shattered Memories.
Konami. He's not at Konami.
Oh, what did I say?
Capcom.
Oh, sorry.
I was torn between pointing it out so that listeners wouldn't, and not feeling like a dick. But
No, point
Conrad,
out the boogers.
Conrad is always willing to fall on the dick sword so that others do not, and
true.
that's what I respect about him.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a different K
You
sound.
got a stomach, Curty, so
I do. My
forgive you.
brain not good. Brain not good. I think. Anyway, yeah. So he was there talking about that. He talked about localizing Persona 3. He talked about localizing River City Ransom EX. He talked about his first job in the game industry at age 12, testing stuff like Global Gladiators. And Dave Perry apparently locked him in a room for a while. Dave Perry, who worked on Earthworm Jim, I believe, and some other stuff. So yeah, he's got a lifelong experience in the industry. He's a fun guy. So you can watch that on the rerun of Sup Holmes, which is on Podtoid TV on YouTube. You can listen to it on iTunes, and I'll get that post up on Destructoid.com too, so you can see that. I think that's all I'm doing. I'm going to work on a pilot for a video series that may or may not exist someday with my wife playing video games for the first time. She's never played Legend of Zelda, the first one. She's never played Cave Story. She's never played Resident Evil 1. So hopefully this Friday we're going to film her doing that, see how that goes. Kind of fun, right? You know, those are games that we all kind of take for granted as just, oh yeah, everyone has that in kind of their
I don't know about Cave Story.
Yeah, maybe not Cave Story.
I thought that was interesting that you were like, she's never played Zelda. Like that I could almost see as being kind of surprising that you go, she's never played Cave Story. And I was like, well.
Most people have played. Yeah, but that shows how far down a certain road I've gone in my life, where almost everyone I talk to about video games is also someone who's played Cave Story before. I think so. You've played it, Conrad. You've played it, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anywho, that might happen. I don't know if anything else in particular is happening. And if there is, then I lose for not remembering it in time. So I'll just deal with that loss, I guess. I'll get over it. How about you, Conrad? What are you doing?
Oh my god, so much. So there is a new question that went out on Monday asking whether or not Nintendo should just get out of the home console business altogether. Really kind of interestingly timed before the numbers came out. I wonder if there's some adjustment of opinion on that now. But that's over. That's on Podtoid right now, and there's a new office chat that will likely be going up either late tonight or early tomorrow morning, depending on when that arrives to me. We've been doing Couch Campaign. We finished up Gears of War Judgment last week, and we've moved on to Battle Block Theater. We've got 2 episodes out now. There will be 2 more episodes out by the time this. I've been sitting here staring at a blank post for, the last hour and a half, thinking, God, if I could just write this while they're yammering on about Dead Island or God knows whatever bullshit. But never got around to it. So that'll be up. Couch Campaign with me and Jordan DeVore. We're playing Battle Block Theater right now. It's quite fun. The videos are I hesitate to say that they're funny, because I don't think that's true. But there are some sick people out there that will garner some entertainment value out of it. God bless them. We're here to provide it. Other than that, video reviews. My God, that too. Dead Island Riptide video review is out. Lovely Jim Sterling on that. And we've got more video reviews coming down the pipe. We're going to do one for Blood Dragon, I think. We're going to do one for Don't Starve, it's seeming like. So there's a whole bunch of that stuff coming also. So keep your eyes peeled on Destructoid for more video reviews. Yay!
Yeah. Very excited to have video reviews back. So the Dead Island Riptide one was posted separately. Wherever the laws of physics and logic allow, we will put them in with the main reviews when embargoes drop and reviews go up. So
yeah, that was really more of a situation where the review posted and we got the video review done 8 hours later, and I didn't want people to not know that the video review existed. So
Yeah.
that's something we'll get integrated into.
I think it benefited from its own announcement anyway.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
just
you're right.
make a nice big show of it. So
Did
yeah,
I
we
do a video review?
What?
Did I
What,
do
sir?
one? Did I do a video review?
no,
No.
Okay, good.
no. If you
Oh, but something else that's up on the site right now that you should all go check out. Hamza used the Xbox 360 Pizza Hut app,
yes, he did.
and it is fucking hilarious. So you go to Destructoid and watch Hamza order pizza on Xbox, and you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll feel a little bit nauseous because it's Pizza Hut. But
Hans is a personality.
Oh
I love
yes,
him.
there's a very funny video. God, I've been messing around with videos all week. What have I done? The Gymquisition went up on Monday. That was called. Oh, I can't even remember what it was called. Perfect pasta. It was called Perfect Pasta Sauce.
People are talking about that one.
It's got a lot of talking.
Mm.
Got an endorsement from Total Biscuit and a lot of positivity on NeoGAF, and a little bit of positivity on Reddit. So that was very happy with that. Very pleased with how that came off. So that did really well. I also did some messing about because I'm trying to just fiddle about with YouTube a little bit, just to see how and why. Because every time I look at YouTube, I think how and why. So I got my own. I'm probably just going to end up putting my stuff on the Detoid channel eventually. I just wanted to practice a little bit, but I've done this little messing around stuff with Surgeon Simulator 2013. I did a video called Super Best Guide, which was a little mini, not really serious walkthrough of Surgeon Simulator 2013, and that's on my channel, which is just Jim Sterling. I don't know if it's going to stay there. I'm just, like I said, just fucking about, but it was a fun little video. I had fun doing it. God, what else? Aside from the video reviews, I also have a walkthrough coming up on escapistmagazine.com for Among the Sleep, which is the horror game where you're the 2-year-old boy, which is on Kickstarter right now. And we couldn't do that on YouTube because one of those Let's Play people had an exclusive on that. So that's a new thing that happens on
Weird.
YouTube now. How and why? But there you go. It's a whole big world of showbiz on YouTube, which I don't understand, and it frightens me. Therefore, I will get the government to try and ban it and be the Jack Thompson of YouTube. But I've got that coming up on Escapist. I'll post that on Destructoid as well. Movie Defense Force is out this week. The movie I am defending is Showgirls, and I couldn't be happier with it. Really pleased with that particular review. That's coming. And also, again, on Escapist, it's been a big week for me on The Escapist. Another Jim and Yahtzee's Rhyme Down Spectacular went live. And he did a video about a man who glues an iPhone to his face, and I did a poem about horror games. So watch that. And over on Destructoid, of course, we've got the Dead Island Riptide review, which has the video embedded in it, so that's a video and text review. We have... What else did I do? We talked about it earlier, the SimCity, Colonial Marines, and The Silence. That's the name of the article I did on publisher stonewalling. And I think that's it. Next week, we've got some cool stuff coming. We've got the Blood Dragon review. We've got the Soul Sacrifice review. And we should have something on Deadly Premonition Director's Cut. So, good stuff happening.
Whoa.
That's about it. I'm so tired. Nothing but... I've had Sony Vegas open all fucking week. I only just got to close it today, and I'll have to open it again tomorrow. Lots of video editing. But that's it for this. I have to edit this piece of fucking shit now.
Do you edit?
like you're gonna do any editing.
I say edit, I put the intro and music on it, and then say, I'm an audio editor, and cry. So,
And you just recorded the intro right there, pretty much.
yeah, well, I mean, this is the outro. That's confused them. Fuck. We'll see you next week.
Oh, okay. So long.
You alright? You want to say something or not?
What?
Did you want to say something at the end or not?
Who? I thought we stopped the show.
Yeah.
Is this the start of the show?
No.